Welcome to another edition of the Situation Room. This is the Election Bureau. My name is Vivian Kai Loko. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Situation Room, where we look at the elections all the way from the 1996 elections and running to the last elections, which is the 2020 elections. And then, depending on what we have, we can even give you an idea on what to expect for the 2024 elections. Today's edition, we're looking at the Bono region, the Bono East, and the Ahafo region. When I come back, we'll delve deeply into analysis on those regions. Stay with us.
Have not shown sign of settling down.
Oh, you don't mean it. Power to deliver is available.
I might have a solution.
You take this and spray it twice. Shake the gentleman. Place it on your lips and say the magic word. Yes. You, my darling, are unlucky in love.
Welcome back to the Situation Room. It's the Election Bureau. Follow us with hashtag is Ghana Post 2024. Try that hashtag and get the latest around the elections for 2024. In the studio today, I have Bernard Avila. He's going to take us through the three regions. Remember, yesterday, Sanda, together with him, gave you a broad idea of these regions, but today we're going to look at the presidential and the parliamentary as well. Bernard, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian. Good to have you.
Good to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. Remember last week I'm still excited about the Western region one.
It's amazing. Eh?
It's lovely.
I even have some more magic things for you.
Oh, then we have a lot to do before 7th December. But today we're looking at Bono East and Ahafo.
Thank you. You mentioned it well, because some people say Brong is Bono.
Bono.
Okay.
At least Infum taught me something. That's our correspondent. So we start with presidential?
Yes, what I want to do is to show you how the presidential and parliamentary situation looks.
Okay.
I think that's a very important thing. So when we did Sanders' show,
yeah,
I started off with the region when it was one, without the division.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you go to prior to 2018, this was how the map looks. So you notice that in the two maps, it's light green. All right. So NDC won presidential in 2012. They also won parliamentary, but parliamentary was a much smaller margin. I'm just doing this as a recap. If you go to 2016, you notice that NPP took over the region. So they won the region in both presidential and parliamentary. And then in 2020 as well, if you take presidential and parliamentary, you see the difference though. Yeah. In 2020, NPP won the presidential, but the parliamentary goes to the NDC. Right, now let me make it 16 regions, and I think that's where the beauty of this region, I think it's one of the most interesting regions, because of all the swing regions, it's the one that is most explained by the division.
Okay.
You forget, Greater Accra has been intact, Central intact, Western was split, but Western, even though Western not typically votes one way, Western region itself has an interesting division. But this region, when it was split, let's go through the 3-year journey, the 3 election cycle journey again, so you can just get a sense of what I'm saying. Presidential, 2012, of the 3, 2 are MPP, 1 is NDC. Parliamentary, however, same 2012, 1 is MPP, 2 are NDC.
Wow.
So quickly we see that Ahafo becomes like the decider. Bono is typically more MPP generally. Yeah. Bono is typically more NDC generally.
And so there's 1-1, and then there's a single
so
one.
So in the presidential, in 2012, Ahafo went to MPP. But in the parliamentary, even though they had 3 seats each of the 6 in Ahafo, the raw number of parliamentary votes gave a slight edge to NDC. So that's why we're saying. But we're basically saying that Bono is MPP, Bono East is NDC generally, but Ahafo has the tendency to switch. All right. Now, second thing I want to do is now go into the way I divided the region. So let me start with Ahafo. Okay, so I'm going back to 2012, Ahafo. Forgive me. All right, let me give you Ahafo. And then same thing here. Now, what do we see? 2012, you notice that presidential MPP wins 4 of the constituencies, and NDC wins 2.
2, yeah.
But in parliamentary, it's 3-3. The way to remember this region, you just remember 3 words. It's Sunafo, it's Sutifi, and Tano. That's the only 3 words.
Sunafo, Sutifi, and Tano.
Because for each of them, there's a north and south.
Okay.
So, for example, Tano North, Tano South. It's Sutifi North, it's Sutifi South. It's Sunafo North, it's Sunafo South. This is how this region works. Second thing you need to know, typically, MPP will do better in the north than in the south. Now, I'm going to run through 3 election cycles. This is a way of recap. So you notice that in 2012, it's Sunafo South, NDC, it's Sunafo North, MPP. It's Sutifi South, NDC, it's Sutifi North, MPP. Tano, however, both goes to NPP. This is presidential. Come to parliamentary. It's Sunafo South, NDC, it's Sunafo North, MPP. It's Sutifi South, NDC, it's Sutifi North, MPP. Tano South, NDC, Tano North. So there's a pattern.
Yeah.
This is for 2012. So it's you can see already.
So presidential, the Tanos went to the MPP for 2012, but for the parliamentary went 1-1. Right?
Beautiful. Let's come to 2016, since we are comparing the 2, and then see if this theory of north and south holds. What are we seeing? Presidential as well. MPP now wins both Tano North, both Esunafo North and South. But Esunafo North is much deeper.
Yeah.
So they do better in Esunafo North than Esunafo South.
Yeah.
Esutifi North, they win. Esutifi South, NDC still wins. Tano North, they win by a deeper margin than Tano South. Yeah. So my theory is working. Parliamentary as well, 2016, what are we seeing? NDC wins only Esunafo and Esutifi South. MPP wins the 2 Tanos and then the 2 Norths. This is
and this is not because of the performance of the MPP in 2016. Remember, in 2016 they did so well.
Yes, but even though they did better in 2016 than 2012, the trend still continues that if NDC is going to get anything, it has to be from the 2 Souths. Let's just do 2020, and all this is still by way of recap, although in Sunday's case I didn't add the parliamentary, but I'm using this to prove a point. 2020 as well, NPP takes 5 of the 6 presidential, but Esutifi South is still NDC. Parliament-wise, MPP takes 4, but the 2 Souths are still with NDC. So this is the general trend for the region. Now let me do Bono East as well. Then we'll go and look at the details later. Now, Bono East is the one that tends to vote for NDC.
Yeah.
All right, Bono East is the one that tends to vote for NDC. Now, to remember Bono East names, what you need to look at, you need to remember 6. You need to remember 6 words. All right, you need to remember 6 words. Kintampo, Techiman, Nkranza, Sini, Pru. All right, let me go through this again. Kintampo, because there's north and south. Techiman, there's north and south.
Sini.
Nkranza, there's north and south. That's 3. Sini, east and west. Pru, east and west. Then you just add Atebubu. So let's do this.
So
again.
all of them have south and
3 of them have north and south. 2
south.
of them have east and west. One is a standalone. So let's go through this. Let me use the parliamentary to prove this point. Let me start from where NDC does very well. Sini East, Sini West.
NDC.
Pru East, Pru West.
NDC.
Kintampo North, Kintampo South. Nkranza North, Nkranza South, Techiman North, Techiman South. The only orphan is Atebubu. See how this is?
Yes.
So it's basically either the river or the name of the people split into two.
Yeah.
Same here. Now let's look at the 3 election cycles. So 2012, apart from Nkranza North, where NPP wins a parliamentary seat, all the seats
Everything
is
NDC.
NDC. Here as well, NDC wins everything presidential. But 2016 is an interesting year.
Okay.
What happens in 2016 is MPP makes a roaring, just give me a minute. 2016 on parliamentary, look at what's happening here. From the one in 2012,
5.
they take the 2 Techimans, they take the 2 Nkranzas, and then they add Atebubu Mountain. All right, for 2016. This is for parliamentary. For presidential as well, they win the 2 Techimans, they win the 2 Nkranzas. So you can see quickly that the strength of NDC is still strong in the region. This is MPP's best year. They win 5 parliamentary seats for presidential. But you notice that these 4 voted for MPP.
Yeah.
At Tebubu, for the first time in a long time, MPP got a parliamentary seat there. What happened in 2020? So, in 2020, presidential, NDC claims everything else but in Nkranza North. Parliamentary, MPP keeps 3, but NDC takes the rest. Don't forget there are 11 constituencies here, right?
And I see your colors varying in terms
Yes.
of the NDC.
So what I've done is that if the victory margin is close to 50 for either, we create a lighter shade of green or blue.
Yeah.
So what we're basically saying is that in 2020, NDC won 3 of the seats very, very well. That's Citiuation East with over 60%, Pro East over 60%, and Kintampo over 60%. Then they won 4 of the seats parliamentary-wise with a margin between 55 to
Upwards.
60, or a bit higher than 50. So Atebubu Mountain, they reclaimed it from MPP. In Nkranza North, they reclaimed it. In Nkranza South, and then Techiman North. Now, this light star shade of green is Citiuation West, and I'll show you there. Citiuation West was a very close election. In fact, Citiuation West, can you guess the difference between the 2 parliamentary candidates?
Percentage or numbers?
Numbers. Number of votes.
100?
No.
Too small or too big?
Too big.
50?
No.
20?
No.
10?
16.
Are you kidding me?
16 votes between the NDC and MPP in Citiuation West.
Wow.
16 votes.
That's small.
So basically, if you had gathered your next door neighbor and asked them to vote, you could have
Two
won
families,
16
you could get
votes.
it.
So you see why we've had to show the difference. So, but you can see that Bono East residually,
Okay.
NDC does better. Let's wrap up this segment with Bono itself.
Bono itself.
But do you remember the
Which
names?
is-
Kintampo North and South. Techiman North and
Techiman
South.
North and South. Senate
Nkranza North and South.
South.
Senate East and West. Pro East and West.
And then the
Atebubu.
orphan Atebubu.
If you add that to Ahafo, Esutifi, Esunafo, Tano. So this. I love this region.
Yeah.
As a geography student, I like the way. By the way, these names are either rivers or people groups.
Okay. So Senate, river, or people's groups?
Pro is a river.
Okay.
Pro is a river.
River.
Tano is a river.
Okay.
Esutifi is basically the. Esu is water. Tifi is the source
Okay.
of the water.
Source of the water.
Esunafu is possibly a group of people.
Yeah.
As for Nkranza, that's the name of the people.
Okay.
Nkranza people. And then Techiman, we know what Techiman means. So Vivian, let's look at Ahafo.
Bono itself.
Wonderful. So let me go back to my map and then go back to 2012 for starters. We are using 2012 because it's the third of the election. So as you see here, it's been blue throughout. All right. But this is 2012. What do we see? There's a big blue in the middle, some greens up, and one stubborn green down here. All right. Parliamentary seems to follow the trend, although MPP wins more parliamentary seats than they win
the
presidential. So as in, their parliamentarians win more seats than the presidential candidate. Or to flip it, you say, Muhammad, the NDC candidate, did better in some of the Bono constituencies than his MPs. I'm not talking about the margin. I'm talking about the fact that he won the majority of votes, but the MPP candidate won. But you notice already the strength of MPP is in the middle. And NDC will do better up and at the bottom. Let me do 2016 to see if this theory or this can become a trend. All right. So you notice that the blue gets deeper in 2016. The green is still there.
Look at the...
And then there's some number here that's not clear.
And parliamentary is serious.
Parliamentary was a whitewash. A
just
blue wash.
one left.
There was only one, Banda.
Wow.
Everybody else goes. All right. Then in 2020, like magic, look at what happens. 2020, NDC clears the top of Bono. And by the way, Bono is MPP's stronghold of the three. They still presidential win all but three. So presidential, there are only 3 constituencies that NDC won. But in parliamentary, they win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What happened?
So they split the region parliamentary. MPP.
2020.
So there are personality issues involved. All right. Now the last thing I need to do in terms of remembering the names, all right, for listeners particularly of this, if you are listening to this on radio, Sunyani is the capital of the region. So Sunyani is east and west. The next most popular town, in my view, is Brekum. Brekum, east and west. So those are 4. Then there's a very important place called Doma, where Ajimamenu is from. There's Doma Central, Doma East, and Doma West. So I've given you 7 constituencies. Doma East, West, and Central, Brekum East and West, Sunyani East and West. So that's 7. Then you have a cluster of constituencies close to Wenchi, which is Asidun Ketia's area, the area of Buzia. Tain, which 2008 was a big issue. Tain used to be part of Wenchi. Tain was cut out of Wenchi. Then there's German South and North. German is the neighbor of Brekum. Then there's Banda. So that's how you analyze the region. When we come back, I'm trying to see, I'll try and show you percentage issues, but I think so far you can get the region. So let me just put the 3 together here, and then we close this chapter. All right. So let me put Bono East, and then let me add Ahafo. So that's one beautiful pie. So this is 2020
presidential and
forgive me, 2020 presidential and parliamentary comparison. I don't know if this is, I don't know if you can see anything here.
A lot.
Quite clearly, parliamentary NDC does better than they do in presidential even though MPP still wins. So this is the...
I have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll move over here so you give me more details. It is the Situation Room. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. When we come back, we'll bring you more details on the Bono, Ahafo, and Bono East region. Stay with us.
When we they are all the same.
Oh, me I fear about to ankasa my margin cement.
Men kasada. I don't want to aba.
Omunyina ya trofo.
Utete parties ni na. Do this is papa and also dinechi. Papa we.
Medini Kofi Apa. I'm the leader and founder of the Liberal Party, LPG.
Oh, didn't say papa. I brought this generation, the next generation. Now let me tell you the vision of this man.
Na me adom number be president. Akola bi wo Ghana bia said the ema me ma ewa abochire. Sa ne be yamom akola bi obitwa ne ka. Bosum bia 500 Ghana cedis.
See what cry and there. Couple 80 years obitwa ne ka 500 Ghana cedis.
Hey,
this o maye nan ya. Bosum bia na je so obi na 2000 Ghana cedis. Sa so na me be president. Wo mo a wo mo nya adwuma ifiri bi nwotwe eko nkokora na mmewa so obetwa mo ka 700 cedis.
We build up from 18 years I want you to know obetwa ne ka 700 Ghana cedis. Hey, not me chum sum kra na say
university so be free.
We are not school free. Me, I vote for number 5.
Madam, I feel 2024 election week. Meto abane dia ma LPG. Mami posters ni bi. Na me muamu nyenye campaign.
O hwe krata na de to aba na be number 5. Me na me to so bi. Ma share so de no e yan sroma. To aba na mami na to mami a me de ose e yo.
O fi akalu wonu ana ako.
This is Channel 1 TV. If you're listening to us via radio, this is City FM 97.3 FM. This is your election bureau for the 2024 elections, and this is the Situation Room. Today we're looking at the Bono East as well as the Ahafo regions. We're going to give you details, of the next set of analysis we're going to do. Bernard, what have you displayed here?
So, I think I gave you a broad division of the region.
Yeah.
I think we now want to look at the numeric trends. And then the personalities in parliament, and then whether there's a skirt and blouse issue. So again, I have the presidential map closer to you and the parliamentary map closer to me. I think easily you can see that in 2012 it is 4-2 for MPP, but in 2012 for parliamentary it's 3-3. So the first point of interest is where did the skirt and blouse occur? We'll show you that shortly. Then also to show you the numbers. So this is Ahafo. In 2012. Akufo-Addo had 50%, Mahama had 48% when it comes to the presidential votes. So it's pretty close. Indeed, when you look at the trend, it opens up for MPP in 2016 and continues that trend in 2020. And the parliamentary also behaves similarly. Now, what's going on with the skirt and blouse? So this constituency that MPP won is Tano South, 51%. For MPP, 47 for NDC in 2012. What happened in Parliament? So Thanos South, Andrew Ajay Yeboah lost to Hanabisu.
Yeah.
All right. I have this theory that when, particularly for NDC, when somebody wins a very important tight parliamentary seat, they gain importance. And there are personalities who want very tight seats, whose positions in either NDC or MPP is buttressed by that. Hanabisu is one of them. Because there's only 6 constituencies in Ahafo. So if you have a woman who's managed to wrestle Thanos South from the MPP with a margin of 1,390 votes, she's not a national women organizer. She's very important to them in Ahafo. All right. So Hanabisu had 19,000 votes, whilst Andrew Ajay Yeboah had 17,000 votes. So this is the 2012 situation. So it was a skirt and blouse. In fact, it's almost like a switch. Akufo-Addo gets 19,000, Mahama gets 17,000. Hanabisu gets 19,000, Andrew gets 17,000. So it seems as if her personality pushed her over the line. I need to point out though that when you're analyzing presidential and parliamentary, typically the presidential people are more on the ballot. So for example, in 2020, there were about 13 people on the ballot. For Thanos, there may be just 4 people. So both candidates will get more than their presidential generally. So if a presidential candidate gets more than his parliamentary candidate, it suggests his popularity. Do you understand? Because he's facing more opponents than his parliamentary candidate is facing. So in this case, Akufo-Addo gets 19,234 and do Ajay get 17,000, means Akufo-Addo residual is preferred there, whilst they were in opposition. I hope this makes sense. Good. Now, let me do 2016, because 2016 is where the the tsunami occurred for NPP. So 2016, we noticed that there's only one presidential victory for NDC, and there's 2 parliamentary victories. So in this case, even though NDC loses the region president-wise, so Akufo-Addo gets what?
51.62%.
Mahama gets
47.44.
All right, but on the parliamentary side, Benjamin Yeboah Setre for Tano South. I'm standing in Tano South. Benjamin Yeboah Setre now gets 21,000 votes. Hanabisu gets 17,000. So Benjamin Setre now takes the parliamentary seat for Tano. But let me go back to the full region. Let me do the region before I do the constituency. Just give me a minute, yes. So to see how the region itself changes, okay? Very good. 55% Akufo-Addo, 43 Mahama. So it's a big gap. Parliamentary seats 2016, MPP wins 4, NDC wins 2. We'll examine the 2 quickly. But this is a 12% gap. Don't forget 2012 was very close, 50-48. So MPP has consolidated. Vivian, take note that in 2020, MPP does not reduce its dominance. So 2020, what is MPP getting? 55. NDC gets 44. So and by the way, 2020, everywhere else, NDC does better. But in Ahafo, President Akufo-Addo maintains his lead over Mahama. So Ahafo prefers Akufo-Addo to Mahama in the 2 election cycles. But you can't say the same about Parliament. I've already told you that even though NDC won only 1 parliamentary seat there, Esutefi South, they did win 2.
2 for the parliamentary.
Good. So who are the 2 they won? Forgive me. So you have Alhaji Collins Dauda. You know him, eh?
Yeah, and he's held on to that seat for a long time.
So as Alhaji Collins Dauda is the MP in 2016, and they also win the presidential, by the way, 15,000 votes to 12,000, 56-42. So it's a good victory.
Yeah.
Again, it explains its importance in NDC. This is a region that they don't have a lot of seats. So if Collins Dauda can win by 3,000 gap, he became minister under Mills and Mahama.
Key position.
Very key guy in NDC. Strong. Check this other person.
And he's actually in court for corruption related
on the issue with the Sagan houses. Look at the other person who won a seat in 2016 when they lost everything. What's his name?
Eric Obuku.
I'm sure you know who he is. He is the spokesperson for Cocoa Affairs. Again, in a region that presidential they lost, he managed to beat the MPP candidate by some 2,500 votes. So Eric Opoku, Hannah Bisiu,
and Collins
Dauda, they are the 3 bulwarks of the NDC in Ahafo. That's it. Now let's just examine 2020 and see where we are with this. So let me go back to the region and see if 2020 the situation changes. Ahafo region 2020. How is it looking? Ooh. So it's still 1 parliamentary, 1 presidential,
and then 2 parliamentary.
Okay, let's look at the gap. Akufo-Addo gets 55%. Mahama gets 44. So 11%. Cool chop for Akufo-Addo. Parliament-wise, NDC 2, MPP gets their 4. And I think it's the same to Eric Opoku. He beats Kwabena Amoah Mensah. It's much closer though, but he still wins. 22,000. So it's much closer, but he still wins it.
And then Mr.
Collins Dauda also wins Esutefi South. So we're seeing the what do you call it, the difference in the region. Okay. I think we should go to, where should we go?
Or you want to do Bono East?
Tell me what you want to know.
Bono.
You want to see Bono? Bono is the most complex of the three, so it may require a lot of
so
time.
let's wrap up with Bono since the
Since it's you think so?
Yeah, so that we.
So I should do the easier one first. Well, I like to tackle difficult problems first.
Okay,
but no, you are
I want
you are
to be
different.
comfortable as well.
No, let me do what you want. You are the host, so you prefer me to tackle the easy problem
Easy
first.
one, then we'll have enough time to deal with the difficult one.
Maybe that's why you've succeeded in your work. You start with easy problems. So let's go to 2012. So listeners, Vivian says she wants to start with the easy problem first.
Easy, clear, because Charlie, we know what we're going to do. And then move to the difficult.
Can you describe what you are seeing here?
So I'm seeing a lot of green. Actually, all greens here for Bono East.
So 2012.
We said that's one of the key region,
they cleared the whole
right?
region. But in 2012, MPP got one seat. I don't know. Let's see who this person is.
Yeah.
This seat is in Kranza North.
Kranza North, okay.
This seat is the seat. You know what? Under Kufuor, there was a guy who was jailed in the US for cocaine.
Yes.
Eric Amoateng. He's from Kranza North.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the way that whole thing panned out, for some reason, MPP tends to do well in Kranza North. Now, of course, he was not on the ticket. Derek Odro, Major Derek Odro, former Deputy Defense Minister.
Yeah, defense.
Look at the margin, 720 votes. So in 2012, when NDC swept the region, a certain Derek Odro managed to win one seat for MPP.
Yeah.
48.85% to 45.42%. 720 votes.
I remember that one, that minister.
Very close.
Very cocky guy.
He talk, yes, he is very media. He talks a lot.
Yeah.
And he frees his mind.
Yeah,
he frees his mind. In Kranza North,
yeah,
he's a strong man.
Yeah.
And my theory continues. He wins a seat in a hostile environment. He gets rewarded with a ministerial position.
Yeah.
Because they need to tell the people that you did the right thing by voting for this guy.
That's right.
So our politicians actually,
they are rewarded.
The parties tend to prize victories in opposition land. Peter Amewu, the only MP in Volta region. He was minister throughout Akufo-Addo. Minister for lands,
railways.
He even took energy.
Yes.
So lands, energy, railways. Yeah. I mean, in terms of high profile, that's
he got key ministries.
Yeah, and he's the only MP in the Volta region.
That's true.
So that theory holds. Let's historically look at the region's votes. NDC wins throughout
for the Bono East,
but parliamentary, it's
2 for MPP.
This is not correct. No, so this is in Kranza North. Forgive me. I need to do the full region. Forgive me. Sometimes when I click, let me go back to the region. Forgive me. Let me just give you the region's behavior before I do in Kranza North. Forgive me. So good. The region is decidedly NDC, right? 2012, 2016, 2020. All the percentages you see on the screen. And you also notice the similarity in the map, in the chart. Big gap 2012, big gap 2020, small gap 2016. All right, so it's like a butterfly shape, because 2016 was their worst performance, but even there they still won. So parliamentary seats 2012, 10 NDC, 1 MPP. 2016, 6-5 for NDC. 2020, 8-3. So 11, declare all. President as well. Now, let's just look at 2020. Let's look at 2020 to wrap this up. So in 2016, first, I want to see if there's any skirt and blouse situation here. Ooh.
Actually, it's
MPP wins 4 of the presidential, but 5 parliamentary.
So who's the 5th person?
Let me find him for you.
Who did something?
This is Atebubu Amantin. The seat
Sanja. Nanja lost.
He lost that seat to somebody called Kofi Amoakohene.
Okay.
Look at the margin. 50% to 47%. 1,140 votes. So Sanja Nanja has been a long-term MP for Atebu for NDC.
Yeah.
MPP in 2016 managed to pick
a seat.
See, let's look at the other MPP MPs in 2016. So Techima North, Martin Otijako, 52% to Alex Treme, 43%. Techiman South, Henry Yebua Boache Yadom, 50% for MPP, NDC 47%. In Kranza North, Derek Odro maintains it, 53%, Kojo Ajay Jomo, 43%. In Kranza South, very close, Konedu Yadom Charles to Emmanuel Kojo Ajekum, 48%. Now, I forgot to show you the question I asked you. The closest.
The 150.
Yes.
No, 15.
Good. So let's look at that. I wanted to show you something. The closest electoral victory. Yes. Prue West. 42. I think that was a number, not 16.
42.
Okay, this is 2016, 42. It gets closer in 2020. In 2016, NDC gets 10,740 votes. That's Masaud Mohammed. MPP gets 10,698. 42 vote margin.
Okay, let's see 2020.
That was a different constituency, I think. But this is 42. Okay. So let's come to 2020. Again, I'm going back to the region, Bono East. And then we see, so 42 is pretty small to win an election with. So I should go to 2020, right? There you go. And that. It's a mixed bag in 2020, isn't it? For Parliament, MPP wins 3 in NDC stronghold. They maintain the very controversial Techiman South, where Ajay Mensah Kosa and I think it's called Bayere. I'll check it for you shortly. Then they also managed to win 2 more. King Tampo South, and then they also win. So presidential, they only win
the one.
But Parliament, let's start with where there was shooting. Techiman South. Martin Ajay Mensah Kosa.
Yeah.
What's the number?
50.24.
And then Christopher Bayere Basongti.
49.76.
We can't hear you. Wow.
So Martin 50.24 and then
Bayere
guy 49.7.
And the win margin is 477. Yeah. Very, very, very tight.
Close.
Extremely tight. Let's look at where else MPP did skirt and blouse. Kintampo South, Alex Jan, 49.44. Felicia J, 46.6. Win margin 1,035. Prue West, Stephen Jalula, NDPP, 56%. Mohammed Masaud,
43.
Very, very, very close indeed. This is 2020. This is the almighty Senate West for 2020-16.
This is the place with the 16
Vivian,
margin.
I have checked the results. I don't know a tighter parliamentary race in 2020. By the way, the presidential race for Senate West was not even close. John Mahama had 62% of the vote. Nana Akufo-Addo had 35% of the vote. And the parliamentary race, Kwame Ampofo-Twumasi, 13,116. Joseph Kuma Makei, 13,100. So clearly, the MPP guy is very popular. And he got a chunk of the NDC presidential vote for himself. But somehow, Kwame Ampofo-Twumasi held on. It's always been close, right? Yeah. Even the 2016 was not that far. But this is unprecedented. 49.67, 49.61.
Wow.
Very, very close. So as you can see, there were 3 or 4 skirts and blouse. And we've explained all. I've already told you that Prue West as well. Stephen Jalula won for NPP for 2020. And then we also had Kintampo South, where Alex Jan won only just. So I think Bono East is quite straightforward. Just to summarize the region in terms of the gap for the presidential, so you look at the presidential trend. All right, so presidential for Bono East, comfortable 56 NDC, 42 MPP, and as you can see, the green line is higher than all.
Yeah.
The real issue is now Bono.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, then we go to the difficult region. Bono, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Step into a world where words take on life, where verse becomes spirit. Join us on Saturday, 16th November 2024 at the National Theatre of Ghana for the Matrix Verse Experience. Roots and Blossoms. An evening of poetic immersion led by the poetess Apioko and Kwampa, celebrating heritage, examining Ghana's social issues, interrogating trauma, and discovering hope. Through verse and the spirit of art, poetry, music, painting, photography, food art, plant art, and performance, we will connect with our roots and let new possibilities blossom. Dress for poetic ancestry and join us in honoring the power of heritage and beauty of human resilience. For ticket reservations and enquiries, call 027-143-0082. The Matrix Verse Experience 2024 is powered by the Breathing Art Studio and Lioness Communications in partnership with UNESCO and the National Theatre of Ghana. Media partners, Channel 1 TV and 97.3 CDFM. Partners, Ahafo, Beyond the Return, the Ghana Garden and Flower Movement, Colorcast, Oxfam, the Aguma Tea Company, and Purple Leaf Soap House.
Welcome back to the Situation Room. My name is Vivian Kai, local here with Bernard Avlet. Today we're looking at 3 regions. Remember, these 3 regions used to be one. The Bono Ahafo region is split into 3. Bono East, and Ahafo. We're looking at all these 3, and Bernard has taken us through Ahafo and Bono East. We are going to the difficult one with very interesting and deep analysis, which is Bono, and we'll use it to wrap up the show. Bernard, I'm seeing something interesting. So for the presidential, a lot of MPP, seats there. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then for the NDC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
For presidential.
Now, when you come to parliamentary,
NDC has only 3,
and the rest all goes to MPP.
It means that MPP in parliament. So don't forget, 2012 election was won by NDC. So even though MPP won the region, MPP did better parliamentary. Now, so let's find out where they did better for parliament. So there are 2 constituencies in 2012. German North, Siaka Stevens, 202 margin. He beat somebody called Alex Asuma Mensah. So Siaka Stevens takes German North for MPP, even though Mahama wins that region, or that constituency for presidential. Look at the number, 202 votes. 202. Mighty close. So the margins here are very interesting. Then the other place is Wenchi, which Mahama won in 2012 presidential. But we had George Jambafo taking for MPP 49%. So if I look at Wenchi for 2012, Mahama wins it ever slightly, 50% to 48%. But for the parliamentary, Professor George Jambafo beats Ya Oseje by a very, only 2,159 votes. So in 2012, the story here is that there were 2 seats that MPP took parliamentary-wise, although presidential, but overall they won the region. So if you look at the breakdown of the parliamentary numbers, you can tell clearly that for the Bono region, MPP is strong. So let's take the region again.
Parliamentary.
Yes, for parliamentary. The number of seats they win in 2012 is 9 to NDC's 3. It's 9 to 3. All right. And the whitewash happened nationally, okay? So let's go back to the region. We are in Bono region. And then let's do 2016. All right, and see what we have. 2016, NPP took 11 of the 12 seats parliamentary. 11 of the 12 seats. So from 9, they jumped to 11. And from 3, NDC reduces to 1.
Wow.
So there's only 1 parliamentary seat NDC wins in 2016 in the Bono region. I'll show you that shortly. The real story is 2020, and I'll come to it shortly. The real story is 2020 for NDC in terms of the parliamentary performance. But it's interesting that in 2016, Despite the whitewash for MPP, NDC manages to maintain one single seat. Now, whose seat is that? Banda. Now, who is the person at Banda? Now, his name is Ahmed Ibrahim.
Yeah.
Who is Ahmed Ibrahim? Ahmed Ibrahim is the NDC's whip in Parliament.
In Parliament.
He was on your show on the Parliament night. You interviewed him.
Yeah.
So my theory still continues. You lost everything in Bono. The only person who won a seat is Ahmed Ibrahim. You have to reward him.
Yeah.
So Ahmed Ibrahim
becomes one of the leaders in Parliament.
Clearly. Again, in that 2016 election, presidential, they won only Banda and Doma West. But even for parliamentary, they lose that. So who in MPP wins the Doma West seat for them? His name is Ali Maiga Malidu. Look at the margin, 291.
291.
Very close.
Slim.
This Bono Ahafo area.
Something else.
And by the way, this past 2 weeks, almost everybody's gone to the region. Napo's gone there. Mosquito is there. I mean, it's
a key region.
It's a very important region for the two. So you notice that they are really, the margins are tiny, but even for parliament, all right? So Ali Maiga, 50%, Vincent Oponga Samoa, who was a former minister in NDC, he loses with a very close margin. So the story in 2016 is the 2 and just one. All right? So this looks like MPP all over.
Yeah.
Vivian, in 2020, you will be surprised at the level of skirt and blouse and the change in the region's fortunes. I think that the parliamentary comeback of NDC in Bono is one of the stories of the 2020 election. Okay, so let's do the presidential and the parliamentary. Don't forget, in 2016, they have only one, which is Banda.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is MPP for parliament. Blue. Now, look at the number of parliamentary seats that are green in 2020.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 6. Meanwhile, presidential, they win only 3.
Yeah.
So the story for 2020 is and this is my theory. I interviewed General Mosquito a week after the election to discuss the problems in Techiman South. And I asked him what his role was in the campaign. And he said he was in charge of parliamentary campaign for the NDC.
Okay.
So whilst Mahama and co were doing presidential campaign, he was supporting parliamentary. And so I think this number we see here is because he is from here.
And his efforts on the ground.
So that 31 seats that NDC managed to recover from the NPP, I attribute to him. And his home region was the most dramatic because from 1 in 2016, they now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in fact, look at this. The region split of 12, 11, it was 11-1 for MPP. It's 6-6.
6-6 for 20.
Imagine somebody scores you 11-1 in the first half and the second half is 6-6. So this is my theory. I haven't proved it. I haven't spoken to anything, but in my theory, based on interviews I've had, suggests that he spent a lot of time in that region. And for the first time in a long time, even Wenchi, Parliament went to the NDC. So presidential election, they win only 3.
Yeah.
But so let's examine let's start from the top.
Yeah.
The Banda that they had in 2016, they kept it. So Ahmed Ibrahim, he got 50%. He 81 votes margin against Joe Dankwa. Can you imagine, Vivian? 81 votes in an election. This region has the closest margins. When I put the 3 together,
so
right?
So far, what we've done.
So Ahmed Ibrahim was the last man standing in 2016. He's still standing in 2020.
Yeah.
50% to NPP's 49.57. It couldn't be that close.
We'll see what happened in 2020. One to look out for.
Ahmed Ibrahim, yes.
Yeah.
So this is one. Now the other place they won, which sent shockwaves, is Wenchi. Why? John Jambafo was a minister. He's been a minister throughout, from Kufuor. He's an economist, NDPC, highly respected economist in the MPP. He lost to Seydou Haruna. We don't even know who Seydou Haruna is. I still don't know who he is. You know, like President John Jambafo is
They wanted somebody.
And by the way, one of my theories is that Jambafo had a very tough primaries. Kojo Frimpong was there. There were a couple of strong people in there. And sometimes when the primary is bruising,
you have to.
Maybe the people felt that they wanted somebody else.
I think they wanted somebody else.
So now that he's won, then NDC maintains his number. So let's see how Mahama compares here to see whether there's a story to be told. Wenchi 2020, Mahama gets 49. So it's a very close race. 49.01, Akufo-Addo 49.56. So Akufo-Addo gets 25K, Mahama gets 24,800. So it's a very, it's a 50-50.
50-50.
But the parliamentary, of course, my point is that presidential have more people to contest with. But parliamentary, 2 extra 1,000 votes for Mahama, for Seydou Haruna, 2,000 less votes for George Ahafo. So you can tell that residually some MPP people migrated to
the
Seydou.
NDC.
Because Akufo-Addo has 25K, but Ahafo has 23K, Mahama has 24K, his candidate has 26K. So all the undecided went to Seydou Haruna. Margin is almost 3K. Where else did we see an MDC recovery? Again, this is place. All right. Now this is German South. By the way, they won't go German North and South for parliamentary, but for presidential. German South, you have William
Ahafo and
William Date. 1,900 votes. Very close. 47-51. Like these numbers are. I mean, let's look at presidential as well. Oh, presidential is not an issue. Akufo-Addo 63%. So what's going on here? Is there an independent candidate? No. So maybe they don't like Ahafo. They prefer William, because I mean, think about it. Akufo-Addo gets 63%. Mahama gets 35%. Parliamentary, William Date gets 24K, 8,000 more than Mahama, and Ahafo gets 7,000 less than Akufo-Addo. Clearly, there are personality issues there. Let's check German North. German North, Siaka Stevens of NPP, who was the last man standing for them, loses to Frederick Yao Amankwa. He takes it by 4,000. It's not even close.
Not close
right
at all.
And so those are the 4. Let me just take the last one. Doma West. So Alhaji Maiga, they say it's a rematch. Vincent Opon Asamoah. You know, in 2020, it was the other way. So Vincent Opon Asamoah comes back strongly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1, 6. 6 for parliament, and president is 9-3. So you notice. So now let's put the 3 together. All right, let's put the 3 together and see the picture we have. So I'm adding Bono East and I'm adding Ahafo. Okay, and let me do same. Let me Bono East and Ahafo. So when you put everything together, this is the picture you have. So together in 2020, 51% Akufo-Addo, 47% Mahama. Much closer than 2016, but still in MPP's favor. So, and this is the beauty of this. Mahama in 2012 had 51%. Akufo-Addo had 43%. 47%. Guess what Mahama had in 2020?
51.
No, 47. And Akufo-Addo had 51.
Yeah, 47.
So basically, Mahama's 51.49 he won in 2012 is the same 41.4 Akufo-Addo won in 2020.
Yeah, so that's a swap like the.
And then 47.3. Keep a close eye on this very beautiful,
3 guys,
resource-rich, wonderful piece of land called Bono East and Ahafo. I will keep an eye on it. I really want to know what happens there. It's an amazing place.
Some key, Collins, Banda, and there's another person to look out
Collins
for.
Dauda, Eric Opoku, Ahmed
leader.
Ibrahim on NDC side, and the lady Hanabisu. These are all for the NDC. There are new faces, like in the Tano North constituency. Now you have Gideon Boako coming up quite strongly, and then some of the other MPP people like Alhaji Maiga, Siaka Stevens, they may come back. We don't know. And of course, the health minister is not repeating. He's not coming back. Hanabisu is also
is not going anymore.
Yes, but we have the health minister is also not going anymore. And there are interesting issues about even Sunyani, whether the employment minister needed to have been contested.
So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah.
Three lovely people.
I'm telling you.
In
it's
the
a
form
proper
of
swing region. Look at this.
We'll see how it goes.
Proper swing region.
Right, beautiful one again, Bernard. Thank you.
So we put it together: 16, 13, 29, 16, 13.
16, 13.
Yeah.
Right. So 2016 was a clear one for the MPP, like
Yes.
we've seen throughout, but
Yeah.
in between, off the sides,
Yeah.
it's different. Thank you very much, Bernard Avle, and
Yeah.
thank you to you watching us on Channel 1 TV and listening to us via City 97.3 FM. This is the Situation Room, and this is the Election Bureau. Follow us with all these analysis, trends, and everything around the elections. Remember, the hashtag is Ghana Polls 2024. My name is Vivian Kai Local. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
He's a real tasty Tom, and yes, his name is Tom, and his name is Tom Noring. That's his full name. He is